racial biases against Black Americans are prevalent in tattooing?
Yes. Very. Prejudice in tattooing is the craziest thing that I don't even know why it exists, to be honest.
Hey y'all, my name is Jazz.
I'm Angelo Saraceno.
My name's Oba Jackson.
My name is Melody Mitchell.
My name is Genesis.
My name is Alik Wu, and I'm from Chatford, Pennsylvania, and I've been tattooing for 2 years.
I am a professional tattooer for 17 years.
And I've been tattooing for 5 years.
I'm a tattooer for about maybe 4 or 5 years now. I like to shave a little off the top because the beginning is like a practice.
Obviously, race is a big topic in tattooing. We're literally dealing with the skin.
Recently, it has been coming from every direction possible, being a Black tattoo artist.
A lot of things that I hear are that you can't put color on Black skin.
Oh, you can't do realism on Black skin, which is what I do every day. You can't do this on Black skin. It's like they're weaponizing a skin tone against an entire group of people.
Oh, those colors won't work on you. That's a really common one that I experienced when I was getting tattooed. Non-melanated artist telling me, a tattooer, even though, yeah, maybe I don't got that much years, but I tattooed myself. I know that colors show up, you know, how you gonna tell me something when I've done it?
The biggest thing that recently happened was this tattoo artist put up a video saying like, it is impossible to tattoo realism on dark skin. I was like automatically on the attack because like, one, I do it every day, so I know it's not true. When I went to his page and I scrolled through his page and I seen that every single person's skin on his page was white, but he's making this tutorial about tattooing dark skin. So I messaged him and I was like, sir, on your profile it says you're from Germany. So I did a little bit of research and I found out that Germany's population of Black people is less than 1%. So if your country's people are less than 1%, how would you know anything about tattooing dark skin if you were not the person doing it?
What you're telling me is that you don't have the experience, not that it can't be done.
If you don't know how to tattoo dark skin, you probably shouldn't just you shouldn't comment on it. You should just work harder and learn your craft better. I had clients sending me screenshots from like 150,000 follower tattooers saying, oh, I don't tattoo dark skin. And I'm like, and you as a fucking grown man think that's appropriate for you to send through somebody on DMs, but then also not try harder to do your craft on brown skin. It's laziness.
Take the time to learn your clients and understand that there is a wide variety of them that look all different types of skins and tones. And if you want to limit yourself to only, then say that. But don't say that it's not possible, because I know it is.
For my melanated people, I would definitely suggest, you know, we have the power of the internet now. You can just put in a simple hashtag like melanin tattoos and there's millions of posts, you know. You can put in melanin tattoos NYC and find someone.
Dark skin, whether you're from like India, Africa, dark skin tends to keloid very easily. Make sure you find the right artist that's not gonna overwork the skin. Someone, like I said, like someone works with black and gray. You'll get a better product, or you get someone like, you get a traditional, you know, get the line work and the black work, let it heal, come back when it's fully healed, then get the color in it. You can't overwork dark skin.
Do your research before you get a tattoo. There's so much information out there and there's so many possibilities now that like, to just walk in and go to anyone, you're really cheating yourself and you're cheating your body.
It's so crazy to me how there's almost like a form of gatekeeping within the tattoo industry, where people are like, well, we're the tattooers, especially if like you have like the wholesaler Jerry clique.
I think that gatekeeping has blocked a huge percentage of people who are in this industry who had to be who had to teach themselves because people wouldn't take them in as apprentices just because of their color of their skin or their sexual identity or their sex, period.
Even the word tattoo comes from tatau, which is also an Aboriginal form of tattooing. You know what I mean? Colored people created tattooing in a way. You got all these people going like, no, we're the original inventors. And then you got all these people like, no, we're over here tapping sticks and we made this. And at some point it's like, why are we all gatekeeping tattooing? I thought, if anything, this was supposed to bring us closer, because we start seeing that no matter which part of the world we're at, what method we use, we're all still putting ink in skin and we're still finding ways to push each other apart.
It's like weird being a black man in this industry, being a gay man in this industry, and having to like be able to be like so many people's voice because some people just won't do it. Like there are so many brown tattoo artists out here who literally will have the biggest following, the biggest opportunity to use their voice to diversify this industry, and they won't. And it's like a competition thing. I feel like it's like, they're like, oh, I don't want to diversify because then I'll have competition.
There needs to be more products that are Black owned, like more Black owned businesses in the tattoo industry. I think that there should also be more of a cultural aspect pertaining maybe to even African roots, because every time I go to tattoo conventions, I never really see that many people doing like African styles of tattooing. And I know Africa has its own game with that.
You know, we need to have people on both sides of it. We need to have, you know, there are Black-owned tattoo magazines, stuff like that, and it's very important for us to create our own foundation of things to represent ourselves. Because, I mean, you know, Black people can't come in and speak for white people, just like white people can't come in and speak for Black people.
There's a reason why all these different people are gatekeeping. It's because they have a community within it. Like whether it's like Ed Hardy or even like Samoan style tattooing, tatak, even with like Tabori, like there's a reason, there's a whole community backed up into it. And then the only Black community present in tattooing is the hood stuff that they show on TV.
I will say specifically in the media, I do not think that they have portrayed Black artists very well at all.
Every time I meet somebody who, like someone new, who knows I'm a tattoo artist, the first question they ask me, oh, are you like, is your shop like on those reality shows? And I'm like, absolutely not, because if we had the drama and the problems that they have on TV at my shop, no one would work here but me. Like,
I have been on, I'm still kind of on Black Ink, and what do I say to not get fired?
What is it, VH1's Black Ink? You know, I think like, I like how they conveyed it most of all to pertaining to, you know, Black artists, and they gave them their own show, they gave them their own thing, but this is not all Black tattooers or just a bunch of tattooers drinking Hennessy on 125th. There's different variations of Black culture, but you just keep picking the ones that keep adding to the stereotypes you want to put us in.
You know, it's just, if you've seen it, then you know.
My experience on Ink Master was if I had the knowing that I have now then, I probably would have left. It was exactly what I think the tattoo industry is. White people who know white people helping white people to succeed. And it literally was like, oh, let's sprinkle little browns in here for entertainment values and like, let's look diverse. But that's not what it was.
And then like the white tattooers, they got the nice lights, they got the good show, they got, you know what I mean? They make it look clean. You want to get tattooed by them. I don't want to get tattooed by nobody at Black Ink, and this is me being honest, but that's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not because they're Black, it's because you wanted to make them show that they fit this idea that's already been so ingrained in society and so almost in a way expected of us as a Black community. And the thing is that just because we're Black, just because we come from the hood, just because, you know, we have difficult upbringing, does not necessarily mean that we have to fit that stereotype. If anything, we have to show that we're elevating in consciousness, not digressing. And I think that's what kind of bothered me about that, is that you're showing that that's acceptable behavior, you're showing that this is acceptable just artistry, and that's what really bothers me, is that no matter how much Black people try to elevate, you'll always find some way to give them, you know, some level of hierarchy, but you still find some way to put them down at the same time.
Do your research. Yeah, get equipped with the knowledge. Let's talk, honestly. I would encourage everyone out there to speak about these difficult topics, to get comfortable with being uncomfortable when talking about the Black community, specifically in tattooing or not. The
bigger platform you have, make sure you're being vocal about it, because the people who follow you for this platform will be like, oh, I never even thought of that before. Like, we are the communicators. If you have a platform, use it, and use it for good. I will post other brown tattoo artists' work in my story. I will post it anywhere I can for them to have people see them. Like, I feel like I don't have a shit ton of followers like most people, but the little bit of followers I do have, I try to make sure they are getting the vibe. Like, the vibe isn't Oba is just here for him to tattoo and make money off of it. It is me here to try to give a voice to women and marginalized people. So everybody, Black, brown, women.
If you're gonna be, and this is for young, upcoming Black artists out there, if you live in a rural area, move to an urban city, you know, Atlanta, Miami, New York, Philadelphia, LA, San Francisco, Chicago. Major urban cities is a good place for you to get a good, diverse clientele.
So for people out there that are like me, a person of color that wants to come up in the industry, I would say, you know, just Your talent speaks for itself, and definitely find community that you feel represented in and you feel loved and nurtured in, because it's out there. And don't feel limited by where you're at, because I have been traveling the globe and I don't regret it.
Being a Black artist, for the most part, it is a game changer, only because I feel like I'm in spaces that, you know, it pushes my social circles, you know what I mean? It's like, it allows me to be adaptable. I have to make friends with these people, you know? I'm friends with this person, this white person, this Black person, this Asian person. It allows me to really kind of almost be multi-dimensional in a sense where I'm not judging people. And in a weird way, through being that way, I create experiences for myself where others won't judge me. And I think that's like the most grateful part of tattooing for myself, is that I see the boundaries and the layers that we create for ourselves, but when you live in that authenticity where you just understand that we just coexist, and you know, skin is just skin at the end of the day. I look at all my clients the same way. I don't really care if they're Black, brown, they could come in looking pink for all I care. I don't really, you know, I just view it as, you're giving me your trust, you're giving me your skin. I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for your time.
We tried the peaceful march. We tried to have our own community, like with Tulsa, burned down. We're still fighting to be recognized as human beings, and it's sad.
I think that for a long time, especially being a person of color, I've already witnessed those things. I've already had that relationship to it. I think that, honestly, I've already kind of been ingrained into that relationship of police brutality, but I think it's only now that it's being brought to the mainstream, so it's not something that's necessarily fresh for me.
You know, for me, and for most people of color, it's no surprise. You know, it's on camera now, so it's definitely, the shock value is a lot bigger. People
are continuously questioning about systemic racism, and I have a big problem with systemic racism because people always think like, oh, it's not real, and it's usually people who are not Black. So I'm like, it's hard to like try to communicate that to them, like you don't understand it because you didn't have to deal with it.
You know, I think that I've already dealt with being, I guess, kind of like scoped out by police, or, you know, even my own family. My father's like 5 or 6 shades darker than me, you know? I've already kind of like had that programmed in my upbringing that it doesn't necessarily feel like a brand new topic to me. So if I were to explain how I feel about it, I wouldn't say it would feel any different than what I experienced being a child.
But it bothers me that Black parents have to tell their kids, like, once you go out in the world, this is what you have to be even more careful. And it's like, this is stuff like, if you're blonde and white in Texas, oh, you don't have to worry about this shit. And then you're just saying, my cancel culture. I mean, look at Native Americans. Their culture got canceled. You know, you put on a reservation, and then, you know, you go to this school, you have your hair cut, and you have to wear, you know, civil clothes. And then even after that, you're still not welcome in the bar or community, or even back in the 50s with Black folks where it's like, you know, oh, can you just get a good job? Like, the only jobs that were available were cleaning a house, cleaning a toilet, and like, oh, watch my kids for me. But then you can't attend to your own kids, and then next thing you know, you got kids that are getting involved in gangs and stuff like that, because they have, you know, it's just, it's a fucked up system, and it needs to be corrected. It needs to be recognized. Black people just want to be recognized as human beings.
It was very eye-opening for me growing up in like a predominantly white area, and I was just not seeing a lot of things that was really brought to my attention, especially starting to work with him. Like, my eyes just opened up so much on everything I was missing. And
me and him always talk a lot about respect and how some people will be friends with you, but these people do not respect you. Like, they see you as Zeke and they don't see you as Zeke who is also Black. And I'm like, so a lot of the things they do in this place, especially where he's from, being predominantly white, like, it is like Republican country where he's from. And I was like saying to him, I was like, you have to really identify your friends, because you're calling these people your friends, but they're voting for somebody who don't have your best interest in mind. And if they are supporting him, they can't support you at the same time, because like, that's not how caring and love works.
For me, and what I've seen in the community is that it's brought about a lot of Black pride, and also a lot of us researching our history, because we realize that the school system has been lying to us. So, you know, I think a lot of good has also come out of it.
I think especially during like the pandemic, you kind of see a lot of like the control that really exists in this world, whether it's like through media or the news. You really see how it is so easily I guess, possible to manipulate a group of people or to get them all to follow certain ideas or categories of being, because it's so easy when people are just scared and don't really know what's next. You already got like a virus going on. Now let's add, some social injustice. Let's add some guy, stepping over a dude's neck. Like, you just kind of like know what controls the masses. And in a weird kind of way, I think that there is a level of progression that comes from awareness, because I think more people now are aware of how easy it is to control us on a mass level, to control our ideas, or to get us to fall into certain groups of belief systems. And I think for the most part, that's a very fluid spectrum that I won't be able to really address every single person. I won't say that every person of color is conscious. I think a lot of them are still blaming the man for a lot of things, but I think that a conscious person of color understands that the man only has as much control over you as you allow him to.
I think personally, it mostly has just become more of a topic of conversation, which is great because I'm so here to talk about it and to share our stories, in hopes that somewhere out there I can inspire a young melanated girl who might be experiencing the same kinds of things. So it's affected me in a way that I'm glad that we're going somewhere, Things are being put into light, and what needs to be said is being said, and what needs to be done is slowly but surely we're getting somewhere, So I'm grateful for the process.
I think if there's 2 words, empathy and just understand. And that's it. There's no need for a handout, or you just understand the situation that Black folks, Asian folks, Indigenous people, anyone that's not white, just try to understand their story, where they're coming from. Because I see a lot of poor white folks that are going through the same shit as Black folk, poor Black folks. And, when these 2 sides, meet up, there's this static, there's this friction. And it's like, you're going through the same thing. You got the, the big dog up here that got you 2 going at each other. And that constant static needs to just, stop.